Hey everybody, Papa Todd Takes. I'm Papa Todd. Hey, I've had a long couple weeks to tell you the truth. But I want to post something every night. I have to get my mind trained to be able to come up with something. I'm having a real struggle tonight. So I'm going to talk about something, just kind of a continuation of what I've been talking about regarding the WNBA and Sophie Cunningham and her treatment right now. So first of all, if you guys like what I'm doing, like, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Share it. Do whatever you can as I try to grow this thing. I released one last night on this channel, and then it didn't download like all night long. And so I got up this morning. I said it before. I get up at around 3:30, 3:45 every morning, just sit and have a cup of coffee, and it still wasn't going in until later on in the morning. It finally went in. So I don't know. Maybe it was just a horrible video. I kind of enjoyed it. The name of it was Sophie's Choice and Clay Travis's Balls. And that was a reference to Clay Travis saying he was going to start a WNBA team made of nothing but trans people, and he was going to call it the Balls, as in basketballs. Surely that's what it was about. But anyway, check it out just to see. I didn't get many views on it, and I'm trying to figure out why that one didn't go across. Maybe it was just too offensive, the title. I don't know. But anyway, if you can, give that one a try. I thought it was fun. I thought I made a pretty good point too. Thought I made a pretty good point or two in there. But anyway, let's talk about Sophie Cunningham for all the garbage that she's endured for stating. Now, I found, I think it was Ben Daniels. There's a handful of people on here, Rudy Rodriguez, Showmat, Ben Daniel, Larry Rhodes over at Black and White Sports 2, Angry Fan Sports. I love him. I wish I knew his name. KTV, Keep the Vision, Maurice. I haven't seen Rachel Demita recently, but I get some stuff from her because I think she does brings a different perspective. Rosalina Lee, she brings a good perspective. I know I'm missing a bunch of people, but anyway, just please go to their stuff. I'm sure you see their stuff. If you're on here, that's where like 99.9% of my viewers are coming from. So, but again, like them, subscribe to them. But if you would like and subscribe to me, I'd really appreciate it. Right now, I'm really working on something. Like I said last night, I'm going to work on some thumbnail stuff and try to see what I can do to jimmy this up a little bit, make it a little better. Really breaking myself into this a little bit. So bear with me as I do that. But anyway, so Sophie gives up, but going back, Ben Daniels. So I'm on the Ben Daniel podcast. I think it was yesterday. It was either yesterday or today. And it was the first time I heard this interview that Sophie gave that has now gone crazy because she said apparently the most offensive statement in the history of mankind was that girls' sports should be girls. You should be a girl playing girls' sports. And the story. And I'm probably going to do something. I'll go into the history of all this kind of stuff and how it came about. But at the end of the day, it's not a fringe issue. And she didn't attack kids. She was clearly talking about adults and teens past puberty where there's an advantage, and that advantage doesn't go away. 100% it never goes away, and sometimes it barely goes away even with hormone treatment. It's just the fact of the matter. That's the science that you guys like to argue so much. That's the science, not pseudoscience. Science. Say it with me. Science, right? So I'm looking this way because my camera, I'm turning it sideways. So I'd have to look basically out my window to be straight on. Am I looking straight on? I'll try to keep doing that. So she says this, and instantly everybody's going after her for being anti-trans, and she's not. And she even came out with a clarifying statement. I am not anti-kids. I'm coming at a place from love. I just believe, like everybody on earth up until 10 years ago, and not even that probably, that girls belong in girls' sports so they can compete against each other. So now they come out and they attack her. She's going to Seattle. She's going to these liberal cities, which is where WNBA is, right? Liberal cities. And she's getting booed every time she takes the court. It's just mental abuse, more mental abuse on a female, by the way, on a female, more mental abuse on a female. Congratulations. You're a bunch of freaking bozos. And then, of course, the attacks on Caitlyn Clark. Well, then she does the finger point. In response to a female pointing at her, she points back, and then the initial Dewana Boner She's loses her shit. So Sophie it's hilarious. She did nothing violent. She didn't say a word. She just kept pointing. And it was driving her nuts. Well, all of a sudden, the WNBA Players Association comes out and says you can't use that with any merchandise that's related to, and so trying to cut her off at the knees there, right? And so, of course, this comes out, and, Ben makes a good point. It could have been released because it was released the same week as her shoe came out. And so she was trying to get, parents and families and stuff like that to buy her shoe, saying, I support women in sports, women only in women's sports, right? Which, again, baseline issue, right? So they can't do that. And then you see her really getting kind of boned on by the ref and officials, it's just people are going after her, and all of a sudden it's like, why are they going after her? Well, it's because she proved in less than a year she's smarter than everybody. I don't know that there's a better looking woman in the WNBA. I'm not saying that from a sexist standpoint, but that draws eyes, right? When I was an attorney, it was always like lose weight before you go to trial because you naturally get better results from looking good. You just do. Don't go into a courtroom looking like a butter hog and expect to win big. Then you're turning off the jury, right? So it's just natural. Any attorney would tell you that worth their salt, right? So all this stuff, and she's getting attacked, and I love the fact she ain't backing down. She is standing her ground. She is telling them, screw you, is what I believe. And you starting to see the swell. Again, I go back to the fact that I think we are seeing the death throes of all this crazy far left lunacy. I think these crowds they're going to lose out. It may not be this year, but I think by next year, it sounds like Adam Silver's swapping out the bozo in charge now. Hopefully they bring in somebody who's actually going to run it like a business, somebody with a marketing background, and figure out how to celebrate your stars that are going to bring money, that are going to make this. Because the one thing, you can have success, but if it's not sustainable, it'll never last. Caitlyn Clark proved she's sustainable. But the fans to the WNBA, they're not sustainable because you guys you're so repulsive. Your attitudes and your entitlement. You're repulsive, all of you. That's why nobody watches you. You're boring. You suck. I mean, you're not good at basketball compared to men, right? And then you finally get some that are, and then it goes this way, right? So I'm not going to blame Caitlyn for not taking a stance like Sophie is. I think what Sophie's doing is exceptional and courage-wise because she knows she's going to get attacked. She knows the left is coming after, and the league and the WNBA Players Association, all that. And she just says, you know what? Up yours. I'm saying what I believe. I'm not attacking Caitlyn. Caitlyn's got her own cross to bear and her own crown of thorns. I mean, because they immediately made her a martyr. Another person came out there. It might have been Mick, right? Might have been Mick Talks Hoops, who was talking about, he's like, Caitlyn Clark has suddenly become underrated because they are downplaying so much of what she does that she's not even in the top 5 the last time they said MVP, but she's putting up MVP numbers, like numbers that nobody's ever seen before. So, I don't blame that. And some people want to attack Olivia Miles. They're saying, oh, she hates Caitlyn Clark because she didn't refer to her when Holly Rowe was interviewing her after the Lynx and Fever played. I don't have any problem with Olivia Miles. You don't have to sit there and kowtow and claim Caitlyn Clark is the greatest player ever. Just don't come out there and talk shit about her, which all these other ones are doing. And Olivia didn't. She just deflected to Kelsey Mitchell, who's clearly one of her idols. And she was like, this was my coming to the league moment. And she was guarding Kelsey. She had very little to do with Caitlyn during that game. So, yeah, I don't think anybody needs to bow the knee to Caitlyn. I think she should be recognized, and I don't think Olivia, by not saying anything about her, was not recognizing her. Now, you get idiots like Angel Reese. She'll badmouth Caitlyn and do all sorts of shit all she can, and she's a unpleasant human being. Every action I've seen from her, just repulsive. So, And then somebody else made the point. Look at all the people on Caitlyn Clark's team who have ever met her face to face and played with her. They all love her. They say she's one of the best. So get off her back and stop attacking people. And for Caitlyn Clark fans, just because they're not going to sit there and openly exclaim she's not the greatest player who's ever played, don't go after them. You're being one of them. You're just overreacting to stuff. Now, if they attack her and they start calling her a piece of shit, you can do whatever you want, right? But, let's not get all sucked into this vacuum that they've created from their dense, empty heads, right? But yeah, I don't know. I didn't have much to say. I guess I carried on 10 and a half minutes. I intended to talk for about 3 minutes just to get something out there. Anyway, just a little of what my brain was thinking that night, and just I don't think we thank Sophie Cunningham enough for everything she's done for Caitlyn, for women's sports, and now standing up as a role model of courage for teenage girls. Papa Todd's Take. I'm Papa Todd. Like and subscribe. Talk to you next time, folks. Appreciate you stopping by. Talk to you later. Keep thinking for yourself.